Got all those fancy microphones and things.
What's up?
Keep making me change my mind. I can't go nowhere. 'Cause you got me chained and bound.
Hello, America. What's good? This is Reggie Florima. I'm one half of the Big Flo and O Show, along with my co-host Oliver. How's it going, O?
Doing well. How are you?
Man, I'm excited today, man. The sun is shining. I heard that the COVID cases are down in Chicago. I'm thinking that the end is near. Football's putting out plans to play. Different states are opening up. I'm excited, buddy. I'm excited. Extra excited today for our special guest, though. You know who that's going to be, right?
Most definitely. Ready B, the one and only.
You know, guys, for those people who don't know, some of you guys were born in the 2000s. I know we've got fans from all age groups. Some of you guys like other schools, but this is a special guest today. We've got a guy who was a 92 Heisman finalist, second round draft pick by the Redskins, played with Tampa Bay, reigning in from Booker T. Washington High School. I can't tell you, he was drafted by the Redskins. You got to listen. He was drafted by the Redskins, and he played for Tampa. And he's reigning from Booker T. Washington High School in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Now, you know when you say Booker T. Washington, something good is going to come from that. No sorry people come out of Booker T. Washington. But without further ado, let me add to our screen here, Reggie Brooks. Uh-oh, I gave you everything. Let me get this right. Hold on a second. Hold on. Technical difficulties, gentlemen. Technical difficulties, but it will be very short-lived.
Gotta love technology.
Yeah, we're going to be there. All right, gentlemen. Reggie, what's going on, man? My namesake, Ready B.
What is going on, Big Flo?
Man, nothing. Like I said, man, Oliver and I just sitting here out here trying to make this pandemic go by a little bit better. Get your name up here.
Well, first, we have to, for anybody who doesn't know, you'll hear me and Reggie refer to Reggie as Red D. Now, obviously, we had two Reggies on campus. And I started saying it because one of our former teammates, Carmelia McGill, I don't know why it was that Southern Florida speak, but he used to always call him Ready B, and then it just grew. How do you feel about the nickname Ready B? But it does fit because you were that guy. You were always ready
to go. You got to be ready to go.
Okay.
Every day, all day, baby. You know that.
Most definitely.
Well, again, a lot of people don't know Ready B. A lot of people, again, live under a rock. You know, when you meet Reggie, he's one of those guys that is so humble, you don't even realize his background. I mean, again, like I mentioned, guy sat for the Heisman or finished top 5 for the Heisman Trophy winner. You know, came into Notre Dame. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your path? I know you came from Booker T. Washington High School, coming out in, I'm going to guess, was that you came out in '89?
That is correct. Came out in 1989. The greatest class into the 80s, so brought us into the 90s. But you know, came out. Except my brother was a couple of years ahead of me. Came to Notre Dame before I did, so he kind of put Notre Dame on the map for our family. And a lot of that was just, you know, the fact that he was the number 1 rated player out of Oklahoma at the time. So at that time, you didn't leave Oklahoma. You either went to Oklahoma State, and you might sneak out and go to like Texas A&M back in the day. But they kind of kept close tabs on the Oklahoma folks that were pretty stellar. But in my case, both Oklahoma and Oklahoma State were on probation the year I came out. And, you know, like I said, that was going to be some fines and lost scholarships and lack of TV exposure. And and then Notre Dame had just come off winning the national championship, and they were on TV all day, every day, and everybody knew them. And it's just an opportunity I couldn't pass up.
So was there ever anyone else that had a chance, or were you always going to go play with Tony? Again, Tony Brooks is his older brother, monster of an athlete at Notre Dame.
No, I definitely considered Oklahoma State because that was, like I said, the year Barry Sanders left, and I was kind of the heir apparent to some degree of they were recruiting me to come in and take his place because he was, like I said, he'd foregone his senior year to go play in the league, and rightfully so. He's pretty good. But Oklahoma State was right down the road. It was close to home. Actually, my mom was kind of leaning towards there because she had one baby that was 800 miles away, and then to have both of them be that far away, that was not something she was. And then her baby boy was considering, so she was hoping that I would stay closer to home. But I definitely considered Oklahoma State very seriously before making the decision to come to Notre Dame.
Were there any other Brooks athletes in the house that I know about? I'll let you know about you and Tony.
No, because we're the youngest two. Except I had an older brother that played at NEO, Northeastern Oklahoma, so a little JUCO.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But like I said, he went. Like I said, he played there, but he didn't make it to the next level.
Okay.
What was it like for you? Okay, you've had a number of poignant sports moments, and one we should get to later in the call. But what to you was your greatest sports highlight, high school, college, or pro?
Well, me, like I said, from a pro standpoint, it was the 85-yard run against the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, to me, that was, like I said, busting on the scene. It would have been perfect had Randall Cunningham not led last-minute drive to win the game. And, he literally ruined my moment because that was the first game. Like I said, that was our third game into the season, and that was really the first game I'd gotten I was starting. I, worked my way into the starting lineup after the first two, and to break that run, and they were on my behind the whole game. I mean, and like I said, to break that one against a NFC East defense, and like I said, you had New York, Cowboys, Redskins, Arizona at the time, the Cardinals, and then Eagles. And like I said, back then the Super Bowl came through the NFC East. So it was, like I said, to play a game like that at Vector Stadium with a hostile crowd and to have that opportunity to kind of put that dagger in their hearts to win the game against a rival, I was pretty pumped. And I was like, this is my moment. And then Randall Cunningham pissed all over it.
I remember the Raggedy Vet turf. Remember that turf?
Oh, my gosh. Okay, the thing I never understood is, like, every year we do the end of the season survey, and they would ask, the best fields, worst fields, the difference of why fix that shit?
That was the most useless survey in the world. They probably chucked it in the garbage right after they came to us.
Every year.
Remember the locker room door in the training room?
Oh, remember the you could peek into the. Well, now I'm not gonna say that. Yeah,
I remember you could put your whole fist in the gaps in those little inserts that they had at the stadium. You could put your whole fist through there. I mean, that thing wasn't even practice worthy, let alone game.
They had a jail in the stadium. That tells you all you need to know about Vector Stadium and Philly is that they had a jail there.
And Philly fans, exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. So my brother was with the Eagles at the time. That was kind of an added bonus. It would have been at least to beat them with him on the team.
Right.
You mentioned famous runs, so I'd be remiss if I didn't put my favorite Ready B run. So I'm gonna put this film out there for the fans to check out. Hold on.
Ready, about this run, and I'm not going to spoil it, but were you unconscious when you hit the ground?
Yeah, and this is actually the run I do not like. Because getting knocked out is not cool.
You were unconscious.
Oh, guys, let's put the commentators there. They can see what you guys can see.
Reggie Brooks may have been knocked unconscious.
That's just not a cool feeling. Getting knocked out
at the goal line.
It's not cool.
I hear the play-by-play. He catches the sweep right to option. I don't know what the hell Rick Myers doing on the option. Boom, spin move on 20. It's 98. Catches his balance. He's gone. And here comes Shante Peoples. Today, though, that's targeted him. So just think about that. That's targeted ejection, and he misses the next game.
Not only would he been out of the game, I wouldn't have got back in the game. Because, like I said, all I saw was next thing I saw was Jim Russ, with the fingers, and then I'm on the sideline. He's showing you go, and he was like, "All right, you good?"
Asking you if you were back.
Well, what's bad about it is, you guys can't see this, but the commentary. OG, move a little bit to your left. The commentary, there you go, is they're like, oh, I think he was knocked out on the play. And I'm like, today, your protocol, you're intense, you're not coming back out, ejection, they're targeted, everything. It's just the game has changed so much. But for that one, they probably just say, hey, man, get in there and run the extra point. Let's go.
He's like, you think you good?
Yeah.
I literally missed one series.
Yeah, if that.
So once the feeling came back into the left side of my body, I'm good. I'm good. Let's go.
But you still had the right side of your body. I mean, so what's going on?
Yeah, exactly. So just but I was left-handed, so that could have been the numbness in the left hand, not always a good thing.
Now on that play, and I know it was an extra point. Was that a pre-designed drag route? I mean, was it supposed to go to you? Because how often do you really hit the tailback on a drag route?
No, they run a play, buddy.
I was trying to clear out. And it was supposed to, because Irv was kind of running like a whip route to go in and come back out. I was trying to come across to kind of clear everybody out, or get somebody to come with me. And I was never part of the progression at all.
Okay, so you know what, we might be talking about two different plays.
So we're mixing Penn State play, which you guys can't see the production. We're mixing the Penn State play, which I thought was.
You're mixing the Penn play. We're talking about the Penn State play.
He got knocked out in the Michigan game. That's the knockout play. Buddy.
Okay, I was talking about in the Penn State play when you hit the ground in the corner of the end zone.
Okay. Yeah, I said catch. I did not get knocked out there. I was very lucid the whole way.
Okay.
But that play was more focused on, because we used our 2-point conversion to score the touchdown to Jerome to get us within a point of Penn State. And that play that we ran for the 2-point conversion was kind of made up on the fly from the formation that we ran. But I was supposed to come and kind of clear out. It was actually, and Aaron Taylor will tell you this, he says I'm the reason he's the reason that I caught that ball, because had he not allowed his man to beat him, Rick would not have been flushed to the right. He could step back there and made the throw.
That sounds like some AT logic.
Yeah.
So I'm indebted to AT for him missing a block.
He said he made you famous, huh?
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Missing the block.
So, hey, when I got to Notre Dame, you were a corner and you switched to running back. Was that the plan when you first came in to be corner, or was that just because we had so many running backs in Notre Dame?
Actually, like I said, I started out freshman year as a running back, and then switched to cornerback sophomore year, because the year I came in, we didn't recruit any defensive backs. So, and that's when, like I said, you guys came in, because you had TC, Jeff Burris, Greg Lane, John Covington. So there was a big wave of freshman defensive backs that came in during that time. And we had lost like Pat Terrell, Stan Smagala, DJ Francisco. So we lost a large number of veteran defensive backs. So I just kind of went over there as because, like I said, the depth at running back was ridiculous. So for me, it was just an opportunity to get on the field.
And I mean, some people look back and they don't realize, we were, before there was the Bamas and the Clemsons and all that stuff, the talent was coming to South Bend. If you could read, you had grades and all that good stuff. The talent came through South Bend. And there were so many guys to think that you had a Heisman Trophy finalist that has to play corner because he's got to wait his turn to get on the field, just let you know the type of talent we had over there.
Yeah, it was like that. I mean, I will say, I said that 90s class is still considered the best class to come through Notre Dame in terms of recruiting class as a whole. That was considered the best class. So I got to give you guys props. I get that to you. And I admit, next time when you start rolling down the names that came in that class, it was pretty ridiculous.
I mean, we're going to have 2 Hall of Famers eventually, right? That's unbelievable.
Yeah. Not only that, but one of the things I like to retort to people was how Notre Dame back in the day, all schools, I guess, used to stockpile athletes. And did you ever think about how many backs of noteworthy came through? Tony Brooks, Reggie Brooks, Dorsey Levens, Rodney Culver,
Ricky
Ismail was playing the back, Jerome Bettis. All on one team.
Yeah.
In one
Ray
4-year
Zellers,
period.
Ray Zellers.
And everyone seemed to have their moment. And then we still felt like we needed to use Jeff Burris every once in a while, like as if we didn't have enough.
Mark Edwards.
Everybody. It was amazing.
I mean, for a minute, Willie Clark was back there running back.
Right.
Dean Lytle, Willie C went back. He did whatever. They went back. Travis Davis got a couple carries. Emmett Mosley got a couple carries. I mean, Emmett Mosley had a 4.
Stafford got some carries.
Emmett Mosley had like a 4 or 5 touchdown game. How did you have time to do that with all those people around there? You know, unbelievable.
Depth chart didn't mean anything to you back in the day, huh?
No. Well, for me, I said it was kind of the, to be on a national championship team, and I said I always wanted to play against the best. That's how you get better, and that's how you improve. If you can go in and beat out the best, then you got some skills.
Yeah, I mean there's a lot to getting on the field at Notre Dame. Unfortunately, I never got the formula. No one ever gave me the cliff notes on how to figure out how to do that as well as you guys did. But just being around you guys, try really hard, bleed blue and gold. I still need to cut myself a little more, I guess. But at the end of the day, it was a great time. And hey, all be aside, Reddy B was my favorite ND running back at that time. Not because his name was so great, but I mean, just the way you played the game. I used to love watch you come do that spin move that you were patting. And the memory sometimes, I don't even want to watch the replays because the memory might be better sometimes, but I felt like you used to juggle the ball with the left hand and right hand, and whichever one that happened to stop in, that was you hit C button, whoop, and you'd spin and make the dude laugh. So I love watching you guys run, man, and that was some fun times. And I hated you had to get knocked out on that.
We definitely had some guys, and it was, like I said, fun to watch. Because people always ask you, like I said, kind of what was it like playing in the backfield with Jerome? And I'm like, it was a lot of fun because we didn't compete against each other. We always wanted to see each other do well, and it was like, hey, one of us break a run, then the other guy goes out there, and you're genuinely excited to see him pop off one, and guy that big to be able to be that nimble at that size. It was a joy to watch that guy, watch him get after it, especially when, like I said, the fullback when he's breaking through there, and then Ray Z, and when he used to be wrong way until he figured out where he's supposed to go. But we got him right. And I mean, you think about it. So you went from Rick Meyer, Jerome Bettis, Reggie Brooks to Kevin McDougal, Ray Zellers, Lee Becton. I mean, I remember us, like I said, senior year, Coach Oates got pissed at us at the Pittsburgh game. I guess we wasn't moving the ball well enough. He threw in all freshmen and sophomores in the game. And right out the gate, K Mac throws a touchdown to Derek Mays, and we were like, "Hey, we got to pick this up."
Yeah, him not too bad, man. He might actually be on to something. Little did we know.
Better step his up.
I think he went like first three passes were like 80-yard touchdown passes for D Mays when he came out.
Yeah, I think his first few catches were all touchdowns.
All touchdowns. They got this.
One of my favorite Reddy B moves was the jump cut. I know we got to move down the line, but if you watch that USC game, Reddy was like a weeble wobble. You hit him, he'd spin, and he had this ability to jump cut. And it was probably one of the purest jump cuts I've ever seen. Is that something you worked on, or is that something that just came natural?
Yeah. Earl Mosley, Coach Mose taught me that jump cut, and I mean, it just fit. And we would do it. We practiced it every day. That was part of our one of our individual practice routines. We'd go through the gauntlet, which I hated that damn machine. I think we tried to disconnect the arms on there one time.
Right, snuck down there at night. And
tried to dismantle that thing. That thing was a death trap. And then the jump cut. Those are the two things that were like an everyday thing in practice. We're running through. Even if you didn't have pads on, you running through the gauntlet and doing a jump cut.
I feel like you turned being short into an advantage, into like a superpower, because when you go try to tackle somebody who's not very tall, and you had to break down and go tackle them, and they spin on you, you don't have any leverage to spin with them. So it's like, hey, I don't know if that spin move works if you're 6'4". You know what I mean? But when I'm not gonna say your height because on TV adds 3 inches. But when you're not as tall as
I'm cool with that.
Huh? You're 5'3".
I'm good with that.
One of my favorite moments is when you told. Well, you and I have stories, and I'm not going to go into the one where you basically sunned me, but the one.
We can't go into the one where you literally had me looking at my ear hole.
Okay, yeah, that's one of my
He
favorite.
he likes that story
stories.
better.
You
I like
tell
the
that
son
story.
story. Tell
What?
the Earl story. He like you to hear that story.
Well, it was the thing about it was just like I don't know what I was thinking. The fact that Coach Holtz, we're in practice, and I forgot who the right guard was. It was it wasn't Knapp. It was Jordy Halter,
Jordy, okay.
right guard, busted play. OG comes in, blows it up, and Lou just says, "Tell him to get out." So we line up. We're full pads going. You know how we practice. It
Right.
was like balls to the wall.
We
You
played
blast
4 games a week.
exactly, and so, and I'm thinking, there's no way we're gonna just, he's like, line it up, damn it, line his ass up.
So just
And
for people
Coach,
not paying attention, when he says get out, he didn't tell someone else to get in. Just get out. So
exactly,
now
and
we're
we're
10
and,
people.
and
Yeah, go ahead.
because Coach Moore was trying to get another guard to go in there, and he was like, no, damn it, no, his ass, we won't play with the guard. Like what? So literally, we run the play, no right guard, and OG just literally damn near decapitates me. I was hot as hell too, by the way.
So
Like,
those of
dude,
us at
I mean,
home,
literally, a free run, just like
and so you guys don't. With the background on OG is he's probably the worst person on the 90 scholarships we have. The worst person you want to see there because OG is such a jerk on the field. He's gonna go full go and he's gonna lay you out.
It was probably Thursday too.
Thursday was probably no pass. He's gonna lay you out as if whatever. So a couple of guys would be like, all right, there's no guard. I'm not gonna kill Ready B.
Yeah, like,
you do not want to draw OG in that. You know,
we move on.
I looked around and was like, okay, for real. So yeah, man.
And I kid you not, I was looking out of my ear hole. That's how hard
you just gotta get up.
Hey, what was Coach Holtz's reaction after that?
Run it again.
Run it again.
Run it again.
Yeah, move it up 10.
Move it up 10. We get it. Another back. We near the back. We near the back. Let's go. Ready break.
God bless that old man. So. Now, Reg, you served as a liaison for the Alumni Association, and one of the reasons why we appreciate Ready B so much is because you were the conduit for almost 25 years, 20 or 25 years, at least it seemed like, between ex-players and the university. Can you explain to us your new role working with Holtz's Heroes?
That role is be very similar to the one that I'm in now in terms of, like I said, looking out for guys that played under Coach Holtz. And, again, the promotion of guys may become – and I'm not going to transition to that new role until the end of the fall because, again, that's one of the things we want to make sure that, guys know, hey, here's who to contact. So the transition is a lot smoother because, again, that's, making sure the guys know, hey, this will be who you'll contact to make sure you stay connected to Notre Dame and Notre Dame football. So it's not a deal where we're losing that connectivity. And I'm still going to be actively involved with Notre Dame athletics from that standpoint because, I'm going to make sure our guys are taken care of. I used to work for, all of our football alumni, but now my focus will be solely on the guys that played for under Coach Holtz. So really driving.
We like to call those the important people, but go ahead.
And that's the thing about it is just showing the appreciation of what guys did when they were here and let them know that they're still appreciated. And more so with the legacy of Coach Holtz and the lessons that we learned under him, but more so it's about us, as former players, supporting each other, supporting the initiatives of the things guys are doing. I want to talk about, some of the, the bowl campaign, the food drive group that goes out and builds the food pantry for the different food pantries, which is prominently needed more now today than ever before. But we have a stake in that. We have a lot of guys that help and volunteer as well as donate to the food pantries, not just in a certain area, but all across the country. And that's the beauty of, our group is that we're all over the country. And I want to make sure that we're promoting what our guys are doing, where they're at, how they are, and make sure that we can support them where they are, and make sure we're supporting each other, make sure we're communicating to each other, and again, being that conduit that says, hey, this is going on with so and so. Hey, we need to rally around X, Y, and Z in this location, and make sure that we can, gather resources and be there for them. I'm really excited about the partnership with the Envision Centers through the Housing and Urban Development, and kind of building education, scholarship, and the tenets of Holtz's Heroes to help in those disadvantaged communities. Because again, a lot of us came from rough parts of the town that we grew up in, and that's a part of who we are. And to be able to go back and give back to those communities, I think it's a great opportunity, and it's an opportunity to kind of marshal the resources across the country to support each other.
How can anybody out there find out more about Holtz's Heroes if they wanted to help? I know it's going to be some stuff that goes on mostly with his players, but how can people out here maybe listening to say, hey, I'd like to hear that charity, I'd like to be a part of it? How can they get involved?
You can go to holtzsheroes.org, go to the website and get on there. And like I said, and we're actually going to be going through a redesign, because one of the things that we want to do is really promote, because we got a lot of guys doing a lot of great things in their respective areas, and and that's doing some things not just from a community service standpoint, but just in business and in education with scholarship and things along that line of that we want to make sure that we're highlighting and making people aware of, and the activities of what our guys do. So you're more inclined to support something that's near and dear to your heart. And we have a lot of guys that are doing a lot of good things across the country, but just bringing awareness and a kind of a centralized focus with guys that played for Coach Holtz on the website.
That's fantastic. Well, we got a few minutes left, and I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you, we're going to have a football season this year?
I was encouraged by the outline that Governor Holcomb put out. That was encouraging because at least it's given us a path to get back there. So, and it's, I can't say if we are or not. So we're really, the focus, I'm on a task force with the athletic department, and Jack Swarbrick, our athletic director, gives a update, every week about where we are. And he's actively pursuing to make sure that we're in the conversation, because there's a lot of stuff going on out there. It talks about, different conferences kind of, going to a conference only schedule. How would that impact Notre Dame? So he's been very thoughtful and, in putting himself out there to talk about the different opportunities. But for us, we're going to follow the university. So I really believe if there's a fall semester where students are on campus, then we'll have a season. Mm-hmm. I really believe that, but it really is going to start with, first and foremost, will we have on-campus education at Notre Dame? That will be the first determinant of how moving us closer to us having a season.
So if we don't, you think it'll be moved to the spring, or you think that, who knows?
Well, I mean, there's also they've talked about late starts. I was just reading an article about, they were talking about how back in the day, and this is back in the 1800s, they had games in January, December, and January. Mm-hmm. So it's not something that's never happened. It's just been 2 decades since something like that happened. So
sometimes you got to go back to the past to go to the future, right?
Well, I think at some point in time, because again, nothing against the other sports, but without football, that's a major, that would have a major impact on a lot of institutions, and I mean both Division I, Division II, Division III, but also those Power 5 schools that have marshaled a lot of resources. This impact, it's a domino effect, because it doesn't only affect the colleges or the athletic department. It affects the communities in which they are, in which they reside. So we're in South Bend. Alabama, Tuscaloosa, if football's not played there, that is a big burden
Detriment.
on
Yeah.
on that city.
Yeah,
So
understood.
it's more than just football is more than just a game. Unfortunately, it's become that big that it has far-reaching impacts to communities across the country.
Definitely, definitely. Well, we hope it gets back. We're so happy that you can make our show today. We want to have you back as a regular guest if you would agree to that. We want to hear more about
Anytime, man.
Hostess Heroes.
Yeah, I don't rock with you defensive guys too much, but you two guys that like I said I got much respect for, and love to see you guys getting out there doing this, man. The more we can promote what we're doing, the better.
All right, appreciate
Really
it.
appreciate it, Reddy. Thank you very much,
All right.
brother.
All right, guys.
Anytime.
Hey, everybody, thanks for tuning in. We out.
But now the day has come. But let you know where I'm coming from. Yeah. You know, baby, look what you done for me.